Good morning, everybody. I'm finally back. Hopefully, all my issues are coming to resolve, but I missed you all. I'm ready to go live and talk about some really important things. What I want to talk about this morning is how our food is becoming so toxic and what that means to you and why it matters and all of that. And what I'm meaning is, it's not, I've talked in the past about how our foods have been changed, right? How we're not getting the nutrition out of our food, how our vitamins and minerals are between 40 and 70% less present in our even our organic foods than they used to be. I've talked about how fiber has been stripped out. I've talked about a number of ways that our food has been changed, making our bodies not be able to deal with it. But today I want to talk about something even more uh, just weighty in my mind. Our food is becoming toxic, and this is what I mean. With the increase of pesticides and other toxins that are added, and producers not making sure that it's clean when it gets to you, you have all of these toxins. But beyond that, we have something called microplastics. There was a big study coming out about that talked about how present they are in our foods. And why does that matter? Why does having little bits of plastic in your food, whether it's your drinks, your organic food, your grass-fed food, all of these foods, why does it matter? Why should we care about microplastics in our food? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I love the system that I'm doing so much, because we're taking we're taking some of that away. Now look, we all only can do the best we can do. There is no way in today's world that we're going to just change everything and go back to having really clean, really great food. It's just not going to happen unless you live in a bubble. So we need to take small steps where we can. We need to mediate things where we can. And, that goes back to when I have talks about toxic seed oils and all of that. So it's almost impossible to get it all out of your diet. But what we can do is be aware of where we can get it out and pay attention to the ways that we can start to mediate these effects in our body. So let's start with microplastics. What the heck is it? They're little tiny bits of plastics that end up in our food. So when manufacturers are making our foods, it gets in there from the processing that they do. When they store the food in plastic bottles and plastic containers, that those little bits of plastic start to get into your food even before you get it and prepare it and store it in your own plastic containers. You're getting these little bits of microplastics in your food. But why do you care about this little tiny bit of plastics in your food? You should care. Some of those are having elements in them that can alter your estrogen levels. And when your estrogen levels are altered, it makes you more susceptible to insulin resistance, more susceptible to weight gain, and more susceptible to some other inflammation throughout the body. And so we're ingesting these little tiny bits of plastic, and it's building up in our system. And guess what? Those plastics also act a little bit like a sponge. So when you start to have those plastics in your body building up, now you have this sponge for toxins in your body. And here goes autoimmune disorders and all of these other things that we're experiencing. Normally, you hear me talk about insulin resistance and the prevalence of sugar. But did you know that microplastics and these toxins can also be contributing to the fact that you're susceptible to insulin resistance and all of the things that go along with insulin resistance? Mind blown. Like, just another way we've got to look at, right? And then the other piece I want to talk about is coffee. How many of you guys drink coffee? Because I know a lot of people that drink coffee and a lot of people that are like, well, I have to have my morning cup. It's just part of my routine. I'm so addicted to my morning coffee. I can't live without my coffee. But do you understand that most coffee is full of things like pesticides that don't get cleaned out before that coffee is processed and sent to you? They're filled with PAHs from roasting. They're filled with mold. And so when you're drinking this coffee, You're getting all of these toxins in your system. You think you're getting energy, you think you're boosting your metabolism, but you're actually dampening your metabolism by getting all of these toxins in. And not only that, now your body is perceiving that there's toxins in your system that it needs to get out. So what happens? You start peeing more. Do you ever wonder why you have to use the restroom so much? Even if it's not a lot, you have to use the restroom so much when you drink coffee. It's because of the molds and the toxins in the coffee, not because of the caffeine, that your body is perceiving there's this ick in my body and I got to get it out. I want to get this out. So let's just pee, and get all of that toxin out. So all of that to say, if there was a drink that could give you energy, mental clarity, all of the things you're looking for without uh, without all of those toxins, would you be willing to try that? This is why I love the tea that I drink so much, because one of the steps, the last step we actually take our tea through, is a process called hyper pure. So what that means is those molds, those those pesticides, those microplastics, that mold gets stripped out of the tea that I drink every day. And so, yeah, I'm still getting some of those things from the other foods because it's really difficult to get them all out. But one place I can control that and how much is coming into my body is through this tea that I drink. Now, the tea also is giving me a boost in my GLP-1 levels. How many of you guys have heard about GLP-1? Excuse me. Excuse me. GLP-1 or those new weight loss medications that are out there, the ones you inject once a week. Change of the seasons. You take Manjaro. So that's a GLP-1 drug, right? You say, I just
On it.
take Manjaro. Oh, but do you understand what that Manjaro is? It's a GLP-1 agonist. What it's doing is it's a synthetic form of GLP-1 that's present in your body at a high, steady rate all the time. And I talked about this before, but when you think about that action in your body from that drug that you're talking about, it's like having dimmer switches throughout your house. And instead of being able to choose the light level or if the light's on, now it's like somebody went through and turned all those dimmer switches on full blast and left them there. And at first you're like, hey, I can see everything. I don't have to turn light switches on when I go from room to room. It's good. But what happens when it's time to rest? What happens when you need those lights off and all the light switches in your house are on and they're you can't turn them off? That's what those drugs are doing in your body. It's taking away your body's ability to react naturally to the need for GLP-1. And as they start to block those receptors open, your body starts to say, oh, okay, this is a problem. And it starts to be your GLP-1 receptors start to malfunction over time. So there's a lot wrong with those medications that people don't often talk about. But what if you could have those actions of that great, the GLP-1, which is giving you satiety both in your brain and in your gut, helping you not eat as much, but leaves the body within minutes. So Jackson, yeah, but this tea that I sip on all day long is constantly giving me natural GLP-1 throughout the day. It's not like I drink this and I'm done, right? I'm sipping on this. This is the main drink I have. I've mixed my 2 tea up in this mug and I sip on this throughout the day. So there are other things that can elicit GLP-1 too, also. But what's happening now is I'm getting this GLP-1 activation naturally at about 70% higher than I would otherwise, but it's allowing it to ebb and flow in my body, and that's important. There is no hormone, no peptide. Yeah, so why is the tea better? Because this is rising your GLP-1 higher naturally than chicken will do, than any other foods are going to do. So this is doing it, and I'm not going to sit and snack on pieces of chicken all day long. This also does not spike my blood sugar. So now I'm getting the GLP-1 effect, but I'm not spiking my blood sugars. And yes, even chicken will spike your blood sugars. About half as much as carbohydrates, but it's still going to spike blood sugars, spike insulin. This does not spike my insulin or spike my blood sugars, and yet allows me to have that great GLP-1 activation in my system throughout the day, helping me stay feeling full, helping me keep energized. So, chicken is going to give me some protein, some building blocks. Absolutely. I love chicken. But chicken is not this high energy source that most of us are needing to get throughout our days today. The tea gives me the energy source. The tea gives me a full panel of vitamins and minerals that chicken maybe doesn't give me. Now, I'm not bashing chicken because I love chicken and I think, that it's a great source of protein. But you asked me the difference of why this is better for GLP-1 than just chicken, because it's giving me a sustained natural level of GLP-1 throughout the day, helping me stay satiated. It's giving me vitamins and minerals. It's actually helping my heart rate stabilize. So high heart rate can come down, low heart rate can come up. That all happens with that tea. Chicken doesn't have all of that action. Chicken has other actions that are great, but that's the big difference, right? Does that make sense as to why the tea? And by the way, I'm going to drink a little bit more. So in my cup today is the lemon ginger, and I did mix it with a little bit of our matcha, our Tioka matcha. So it has a little appley, fruity taste to it. But that's all I do. I don't have to worry about coffee. I don't have to worry about ingesting extra pesticides and toxins. And notice it's in, yes, I have a plastic straw. I should have a metal straw, but it's in a stainless mug. So I'm just reducing some of that risk, right? I'm reducing some of the toxins that are in my system while helping me feel full, while helping me stay satiated, which is feeling full, while giving me energy and mental clarity and the vitamins and minerals needed to sustain life. That's why the tea. And that's why I love it so much, because now we're taking drinks that we're relying on. So think of, like, I have a family member who's addicted to Bang Energies, and she just can't seem to get herself off of them no matter what. It's a choice, right? We all make choices. Those are full of these toxins as well. And coffees. And, how many of you guys are stopping off at Starbucks, or in the Northwest, it was Dutch Bros that everybody used. Not only do they have all these toxins and pesticides and molds in them, but now they're adding sugar in high amounts on top of that, and unhealthy fats. Most of the additives that they're using are full of seed oils. So would I rather go to Starbucks or Dutch Bros or whatever coffee joint and get something that I know is going to give me some energy, but I'm going to crash from it? I'm also going to have, good morning, world famous, I'm also going to have this proliferation of toxins in that drink? Or do I want to pick up something that I can have hot or cold, drink throughout the day, and not have all of those toxins present in the food that I'm trying to ingest to help my body, right? There's food that we eat just because we like it. There's food that we eat because we want to help our body. If you're trying to help your body by giving it the cleanest source it can have. Hey, world famous. Yeah, it's been a while. What is it? One of my partners said, life lifed me the last several months, and it's been chaos. And so I haven't been on, but I've made a commitment to start trying to be on twice a day now. So I'm back, and we're going to start giving some more value to everybody, and so that people can learn, you know, how we've been deceived with our food and our environment and our illnesses, and how our healthcare is not healthcare anymore. It's sick care. And what we can do about all of that, and how this protocol is helping, because I think it's really important for people to understand that you don't have to be so sick. We just have to understand some of these little things. And today, my big thing is this toxic food. So to recap, you guys, I'm going to go back to the top because a bunch of you have just jumped in. Our food, beyond the fact that we're having less nutrients in our food, and that's one of the other reasons why the tea is so much better. Our food, even when it's organic food, which just means there's less pesticides on it, there's less of these negative things, doesn't mean there's none of them. It means that it's 20 to 25% less, which is huge, than other foods. But the seeds we're growing from are not heirloom seeds anymore. There's a reason why our peaches used to be the size of this. A real peach was about the size of this. Hey, Vasan. So you're sipping on your tea as you watch. Cheers to you, because that's the best way to start the day. But our peaches used to be the size of this: hard, crunchy, a little bit sweet, a lot more bitter and tangy to the palate, right? Now you go to the store and you get a peach that's like this. How many of you see a peach this size in the store? Does anybody? Type a one in if you've gone to the grocery store, even in the organic section, and saw your peaches this size. Let me know. I want to know. Type a two if you've not ever seen a peach that's this size, unless it's green and unripe, right? Can you guys, are you here? You let me know, because there's a reason they're not this size anymore. They're this size, this size. That's because fiber has been stripped out. And in order to do that, glucose has been pumped up. Now we're getting excess sugar along with these microplastics and pesticides and toxins. Now we have this perfect storm for this thing called insulin resistance that's causing all of these problems. Now, that all combined is why I say our food is toxic. And so many doctors are talking about, specialists in the field are talking about how our bodies just don't even recognize the food that we're getting anymore. The protections that were naturally built in have been stripped out in our intelligence. They've been stripped out, right? So now we have food that's not giving us the nutrition we need, that's giving us more toxins than we want. And we're wondering why we're sick. Now, is it a pill or an injection that made you sick, or the lack of it? I don't think so. That is a band-aid response to a real problem. If we understand that the real problem with our health today is actually our food environment, we can understand how to start changing it. And simply taking an injection to shut down your hunger is not helping. So I posted yesterday, and it was something like this. If we found out that our water was toxic, would we want to clean the water or find a better source for that water, that hydration? Or would we simply create a medication that makes us less thirsty so we take in less of the toxic water? That's what the medications are doing. They're not addressing the root cause. They're making you less hungry, so you'll take in less of the food that's making you sick in the first place. Why not just understand what's happening with our food, start to make those changes, and ditch the medications that are just making you less hungry for the food that you don't want to be eating anyway. And the food that I'm talking about is not necessarily the organic grass-fed food. I'm talking about bagged box barcoded foods that we all eat. We all eat. I have very little left in my house now. I have one small section in my cabinet that has some canned goods or whatever. The rest of my food tends to be whole food. But I still struggle because our food gets these microtoxins, these microplastics, this mold and pesticides in it, and we have to be careful about that. But again, the one place I don't have to be careful about it, the one place that I'm really excited about it, is in the products that I take to help manage my insulin resistance. We take it through a process called HyperPure that removes pesticides, toxins, PAHs, molds, and yes, those microplastics from this tea. So when you hear other people talking about yerba mate tea and how great it is for GLP-1 and whatnot, understand that those teas have not been cleared, clarified, purified. They have those molds, PAHs, pesticides, microplastics, and toxins in them that are going into your body and actually causing more of what the problem is. So if you want to heal, if you want to feel better, then what you're using to feel better with needs to fuel your body in a way that your body will love and be able to handle for a long time. Does that make sense to everybody? So just getting the toxins out of some of the food that we eat, some of the tools that we use can be extremely helpful. I have a video up a few days ago talking about linoleic acids in seed oils. This has nothing to do with the tea, but seed oils are high in linoleic acids, and the inflammation and toxins from those can be present in your body for 600 days after just one serving. So, inflammation that's caused by that can stay present in you for that long, 600 days. That's, you guys think about that. That's nearly 2 years. And as I think about that, I'm like, yeah, how many times have I gone out to eat with the family and had a meal that I know has some of those toxins in it? Wow, right? But what I want to do is in the conditions, in the environment that I'm in daily, I want to not add those things into my food. I use extra virgin olive oil to cook with. I use coconut oil. I use butter and I use ghee from clean sources, but I do not use seed oils, nor are they allowed in my home in their state that we normally have them in. It really terrifies me when I go into homes and they have a big bottle of canola oil or corn oil. Does anybody know where those seed oils originated from? And do you want to know? Does anybody want to know where those seed oils really originated from and what they really are meant for? Does anybody want to know? Let me know. Type yes or a one in the comment if you really want to know, because I think it will be eye-opening for you. All right, so seed oils were developed out of waste from food originally as a machine oil. And this was like during wartime, right? But as war subsided, way back when, some of you might not ever remember, the makers of it, I believe it was Rockefeller, were like, dude, we have this process, we have this oil. Now, what are we going to do with it? How are we going to sell it? We don't need as much of this machine oil now. What are we going to do? Oh, I get it. Those oils are made from food. We can mass market them as a food product and sell them to people, and we can still make money off of the waste that we're reproducing. They were never meant to be ingested in our bodies. They're put through a bleaching process. Those oils would stink so bad, you wouldn't want to use them on your food if they weren't gone through this process of bleaching them to deodorize them. And then they're soaked in other toxins to just get that seed oil out. So, can they clean that out of all of the seeds oils? They don't. They do a little bit, but they don't. So now with seed oils, not only are you getting those linoleic acids, but you're getting all of these other toxins that are giving your body this onslaught of inflammation and problems. And so watch the video, go back. There's a few, about a I don't know, 5 or 6 videos back. There's a video on seed oils and how I am not a proponent for seed oils because of the toxicity of them. You guys, we're not going to get away from toxins in our food, but we have to do the best we can where we can. It's all about the small steps that take us to a greater goal, right? And that's, again, I'm going to lead back to the tea and the pre-meal drink I have. Now I'm supporting my body's nutrition. Now I'm giving myself energy. Now I'm giving myself satiety. Now I'm lessening the need for those sugars and other cravings that you have, but I'm supporting myself with actual nutrition in vitamins, minerals, phytosterols, things like chlorogenic acids and theobromine, things that are really good for mood, for satiety, for the health of our body. That's why I'm always sipping on this tea. And those of you who said you were sipping on it this morning, again, cheers. Because when you do this, you'll notice I have so many people who said, I'm addicted to coffee. And eventually they're able to stop their coffee as they realize they feel better sipping on the tea than they ever did on the coffee. Now, I sip the tea. This is about 40 ounces. This is going to take me until about noon or so, 1 o'clock. It's about 10:30 here to finish, if I'm finished with it by then. But in the meantime, as I sip on it throughout the day, I'm getting that satiety. I'm getting energy. I'm getting mental clarity. I'm getting this feel good feeling, which is what theobromine does. It's the same thing that's in high quality dark chocolate. And so we're getting all of this goodness in a very, very clean way that does not break down and cause more inflammation in your body while addressing insulin resistance, while stabilizing your heart rate, while addressing sugar flow in your body. So the tea and the pre-meal drink are slowing down that sugar delivery into your system, which is key for addressing insulin resistance. All right. So the protocol is in my profile. If you guys want it, I'm going to put it in over here on the other channels that I'm on right now. By the way, this whole live is on YouTube and will be housed there forever, and as well as some of the other lives I've done talking about other issues. If you want to go to YouTube and watch them, please do. But the link is there. You guys check here under the red light symbols. There's a lot of information there. My website, the link to the system that I use. It's 2 teas. Again, I just mix them both up in one 40-ounce mug in the morning and sip on it throughout the day, and a pre-meal drink that I have when I eat that helps me understand, or my body understand, how to deal with the sugars in my system. So there you have it. You guys, I'm going to be back later this afternoon. We're going to be talking about something different, and I'm going to try to be here every morning again. I apologize. Life lifed me, and I just haven't been around. But I want to give you guys the education you need so that you can start feeling better. Because again, those injections and those pills, they're not making you feel better. They're masking a symptom, but they're not helping you address what got you there in the first place. And that's dangerous. I have someone I'm working with now who's been on the injection for a while, trying to come off of it, and is already starting to notice health issues after being on them for a year, but still having the latent effects of insulin resistance because it wasn't addressed at the root, at the core. And one of the places we can start to address that is understanding our food. So there's a video going up today about 5 symptoms of insulin resistance. That will give you the top 5 non-clinical ways that you can tell that you're insulin resistant or headed down that path. Please watch it and understand what's happening to your health. Please understand that insulin resistance has everything to do with food in our body and how our body is utilizing the food as energy in our body. So when you start to understand very simply those things, and you don't even have to, just know that it works. This works, it works, it works. It's worked for me. I have reversed or reduced almost all of my symptoms, including my high blood pressure, lost 55 pounds, got my mental clarity back, got my inflammation, my neuropathy and edema down, my bleeding teeth and gums are gone, my eyesight got better, my hair grew in thicker. I got rid of skin tags and dark skin patches, all by addressing insulin resistance and by making some small changes that are sustainable in my life. And that started with not even changing my diet drastically in the beginning, just started with adding in the nutrition that my body needed so desperately to function properly. And that's really what the system does, is we're just giving you back the nutrition that has been stripped out by the food industry so that our bodies can function like they're supposed to. And that's the real goal of this. And that's really what we want, or most of us. If you're here, I hope that's what you want. I will see you later today, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Thanks for joining me, you guys. It's been a pleasure. If you have questions, ask them. If you want to talk to me more, just use the link in my bio. It's going to get you to my WhatsApp where you can just send me questions, and I will converse with you about them. Hey, Life Dancer. So let's get your health back and understand that the system, the protocol that's in my profile is what changed my life and allowed me to have a life at 61 when I thought I might not be here right about now. So if you want to be here for yourself, for your family, start taking care of your health. And the simplest way I found was this system that changed everything. We'll see you guys later. Have a good day.